Hey there, guys. Welcome to the channel. Guys, I have a really serious question that I really need your insights on. Why, as Americans, do we ignore so much? And, I guess, actually, now that I say that out loud, I don't think it's even a nation thing. Why, as humans, do we ignore so much? I mean, just think about the things that some of the more propagandized people around us can ignore. When people say the quiet part out loud, listen to them. We don't. Take Joe Biden, for example. Literally every shady thing the man does, every racist, sexist, or even just plain creepy thing he says, we either completely ignore it, we explain it away, we blame it on cognitive decline or whatever, and most of us just convince ourselves that it's just Joe being Joe, whatever the hell that means, all while we are literally getting robbed blind. But anyway, I think if we all live by just a very simple rule, we'd be a whole lot better off. When they tell you who they are, believe them. When they tell you what they plan to do, take them at their word. Whether this is Hillary Clinton telling minors that they're going to have to learn to code because she's going to put them out of business, or whether it's Barack Obama telling us he's going to fundamentally transform America. Guys, believe these people. They're telling the truth. And especially when it's a Chinese Communist Party member telling you that they have infiltrated and corrupted the United States government all the way to the freaking top. Guys, believe them. Because this actually happened just a few years ago, and we all completely ignored it. Well, not all of us. Thanks to Andrew on the channel for bringing this to my attention. He didn't ignore it. And there are a lot of brave and awakened patriots just like him, thankfully. But the majority of us, including our media machine, completely friggin' ignored it. No one asked the Biden administration or any other powerful person for that matter even one question after a Chinese Communist Party member and high-ranking state professor told us everything they had and everything they planned. We ignored it. I'll get into everything I'm talking about in just a second, guys. But first, thank you so much to everyone that's been subscribing and leaving such great comments. I really do appreciate the support, guys. This is an awesome ride together. And if you haven't already, guys, join us. Help us to continue to grow. Like, comment, subscribe, share the channel. So what am I rambling about? Because I am rambling a little bit. Well, there's a Chinese professor and Communist Party member at a university in China called Renmin. And his name is Professor Dongseng. And he gave a speech in 2019 where he literally explained, word for word, how the Chinese government has infiltrated the United States. Now, obviously, this guy didn't just come out and give a speech, with the express purpose of telling us how much smarter they are than us or how they're conquering us from the inside, which is they are. I'm pretty confident that he'd never even imagined that this speech would end up leaving that room or leaving that government. He definitely never imagined it would leave the country. The speech was not for us. The point of this speech, he was to talk about Chinese financial sectors and how they've opened up and how he expected them to take off and grow in the year 2020 and why. And I'm going to go through the things he said, and we'll talk about some of the secrets that I feel like he disclosed. And keep in mind, guys, just how important a figure this man must be. From what we know about China, anyone spreading this sort of disinformation or information, whether factual or whether it's not, is more than likely going to find themselves in prison or worse. This guy hasn't, which tells me just how powerful and just how important they think he is, especially considering, one of the things he accidentally disclosed as he was basically more or less complaining about Donald Trump and expressing his relief at the election of President Joe Biden, which should tell you everything you need to know right there. He explains that the CCP has their own team at the very top of American politics. He claims that they have people that they can control directly and people that they can control indirectly. And he talks about how President Trump was one of the only people that the CCP did not own and could not control. They couldn't use their political power. They couldn't use their leverage through Wall Street, which is a tactic that they use. And here's another interesting thing before I get into the video, which I'll get into in just a second, I promise. I'm sorry this is such a long intro. But pay very close attention to this. When this speech was first discovered by Westerners, the answer of the Chinese government was to delete what they could and order deleted any other recordings that might be out there, and really any record of the speech, which is really pretty interesting. That's how they responded. Anyway, I've talked for a minute. Let's take a look at what we all missed the first time.
那么其实呢，就是说啊，说的白了点儿啊，其实呢，就过去这个30年啊，过去40年，我们在美国的它的这个利用它诠释核心圈，是不是？我前面讲过，华尔街在1970年代开始对美国它的内政外交有非常强的影响力，啊，所以我们有路径依赖，是吧？但问题是，08年之后，华尔街的地位下降了，更重要的是16年之后。 华尔街搞不定特朗普，为什么？很尴尬。特朗普以前对华尔街有过一次软性违约，所以双方有矛盾啊。当然，这个细节我就不多说了，时间可能已经来不及了，是吧？那么，这个中美贸易战过程中，他们也试图帮忙啊。据我所知，美方的朋友跟我讲，这个试图帮忙，但是啊，力有不逮啊。但现在呢，现在我们看到拜登上台了，传。
Yeah, deep stuff. And guys, here's, I think, an interesting thing to pay attention to. I don't know who these people are. I can only assume that they're some of the more powerful and elite, either in government or Chinese social circles. I don't know. But listen to the laughter when they talk about just how stupid you and me really are. And the laughter all starts at the very mention of Joe Biden. And remember, guys, this is before Ukraine. This is before spy balloons. This is before the Afghanistan catastrophe. Every single one of those people knew all along what the American left as a whole still hasn't figured out. They own us. And just listen to how they laugh at us.
但现在呢？现在我们看到拜登上台了，就是因为咱们上边有人啊，就是我们在美国的权势核心圈啊，我们有我们的老朋友，啥意思啊？ 天下没有美元搞不定的事情，是吧？如果一打美元搞不定，是吧？那我就，两打。这个，当然这是我的工作方式了。
Yeah, man. So there's a lot to unpack there, but the basic gist is simple. There are powerful people within the CCP that believe that we're stupid and that we're laughable in our ignorance. You know, we are, and we are ignorant when it comes to this. We ignore this stuff. You know, they believe that they can control the United States of America because, in their words, they have old friends at the top. And this guy's exact words were, whatever he can't fix with one stack of dollars, well, he can fix it with two. And honestly, this is what they think of us. And I'm sure that they have very, very good reason to think it. So, you know, assuming that what this guy is saying is true, you know, when he shares stories like powerful Chinese business people placing leverage on Wall Street to fix whatever geopolitical problems China thinks existed between us, you know, then I think if we're to believe all that is true, which we got no reason not to, then I think it's pretty reasonable to believe that all it took for the Chinese to get whatever they want from us was money, which really, guys, is the absolute picture of corruption. And big surprise, the man that the American left will tell you till they're literally blue in the face is the most corrupt president in history, Donald Trump, according to the professor here, brought Chinese corrupt influence over the United States government to a damn near standstill. Funny how that works, right? Just epic, depressing. When you really hear it and you say it out loud, it's just like, what the hell? So with that in mind, guys, just listen to the reverence to which this guy talks about the election of Joe Biden.
传统的精英、政治精英啊，这个建制派，他们跟华尔街的关系是非常密切的。所以大家看到吧，拜登的儿子被特朗普说你在全球有什么基金公司，发现没有？谁帮他建的基金公司啊？明白吗？这里边都有买卖啊。那么。 所以这个时候我们以恰当的方式进行一定的这样一个表达一个善意啊，我个人理解，当然这个受限于我的专业基础是吧？我们是从国际政治经济学的角度去理解这个事儿。那么我认为啊，有它的战术和政治的价值在里边啊。
So, I mean, what does this mean, right? What are we to take this to actually mean? Does China believe that they own Joe Biden? You know, or do they actually own Joe Biden? Or did they at least own Joe Biden in the year 2020? You know, let me know in the comments what you actually think. But did they think that setting up the Biden family business by their Chinese subsidiaries would gain political favor? I mean, does it have something to do, whatever political favor they may or may not have, do you think it has something to do with our refusal to actually hold the Chinese government accountable, if not for COVID itself, at least for the cover-up that they definitely engaged in? Nobody questions whether they did or not. Do you think it has something to do why we don't hold them to the same insane climate standards that we do ourselves and basically the entire Western world? I mean, I think it probably does. And on top of that, probably even more troubling than any of that, our government, they haven't said one word about China literally trying to take control of every natural resource in South America, while at the same time they're building a military base just off our shores in Cuba. Most people that are watching this video, they're not even aware that these things are happening. No one in our government and no one in our media especially have acknowledged it or even talked about it. It's like it doesn't even exist. And guys, you know, I haven't even talked about Chinese spy balloons. That's child's play compared to the rest of it. You know, I think knowing everything we know and taking into account basically everything that has happened since this man gave this speech, I think it only makes him that much more credible. And guys, you know, if you take nothing else away from this video, please remember this. This is how this high-level CCP member, you know, the member who was basically in charge of laying the groundwork for the Chinese president's propaganda push when he came on his book tour in 2015. This is how this man, at least, if not all of them, but this is how he views the United States government.
啥意思啊？天下没有美元搞不定事情，是吧？如果一打美元搞不定，是吧？那我就，两打。这个，当然这是我的工作方式了。
So here's where I'm at with all this, right? I don't know what the truth is, but I know enough to know that we have no reason to not take this guy at his word, a Chinese official that's talking to a very, very friendly room of powerful people in China. We have no reason to not believe this guy. I also know that we are incredibly foolish, guys, as people, as Americans, as Westerners, when we ignore the people that say the quiet part out loud. When people tell us exactly who they are, exactly what they're doing, we ignore it. We ignore it because we're coerced, we're trained to ignore everything except what we're spoon-fed by the people that we have been trained to trust or whatever. And that's the powerful elites in this country, you know, that are either in our government or in our media or somehow both, right? They know exactly, these people know exactly what is going on. And if they don't support it or condone it, then they actually just need it to survive. You know, they also know, these people know that if the majority of people, or even a very, very vocal minority of people, actually took the time to research this, to understand this, to be brave enough to believe it, then they'd have a real and legitimate problem on their hands. You know, one that, you know, they could probably never answer for, and they definitely can't explain, right? So like I said, I don't know how much to believe from this gentleman, but I know that we're crazy. I know that we're foolish if we completely ignore him. And if we have any question about whether this speech was just some sort of misunderstanding, some sort of one-off thing, well, here he is in a different setting telling us even more.
中国社会现在有许多人啊，他们不是搞美国研究的，啊，对美国社会、美国政治，了解很少。那这样一个群体现在都变成了美国问题专家，都变成美国经济专家，都变成中美经贸专家。根据他们的叙述，就是美国怎么样，白宫怎么样，是吧？其实没有谁叫美国，没有人叫美国，啊，真实存在的是不同的利益群体。 现在美国社会分裂特别严重，精英圈我们称之为 establishment 权贵圈尤其这个精英圈里边的有一个群体，我们称之为 deep state 隐形政府。
So remember, Donald Trump was the father of Q, and you and I, or anyone who even utters the words deep state, is an uneducated backwoods racist conspiracy theorist, right? Obviously, that's going to be the case. That's what they're going to think of us no matter what we're talking about. That's just how they control us, how they try to control us through demagoguery and vitriolic scare tactics. But, how interesting is it that after being laughed at by people like Hillary Clinton for believing in the deep state, how interesting is it to hear and see a Chinese Communist Party member talking about the American deep state as if everyone knows that it's real?
这什么人呢？当然不同的人理解略有差别。我的理解就是，美国的军方、美国情报系统、美国国务院、美国财政部、美国商务部、美国总统贸易代表办公室、美国司法系统这个圈的中高级官员群体。注意，这个群体他们是事务官为主，他不是政务官。也就是说，在美国495公路圈里边，特朗普所痛恨的那个沼泽里边的大鱼们就是他们。美国政治家是选举来来去去，来来去去，是过客，但是总是待在美国权力圈里边的，就是刚才我说的这个群体。这个群体，我跟他们有所交往，在我看来，他们的特点是：第一，有水平，有情怀，有能力，有资本，有经验。
Yeah. So you guys see that, not only does this guy believe in the deep state, but he claims that he has worked in concert and in collaboration with the American deep state. And he brings up a really, really, really strong point about what the deep state really is. They're not some dark cabal like on spy movies or whatever. All they are is lifelong bureaucrats, the unappointed, the unelected permanent fixtures in Washington. They're the ones, they know where all the bodies are buried. They're probably the ones that buried a lot of them, to be honest. And they're the ones that know where the money is and where the money actually comes from. And they're the ones that know how our worthless, broken system actually works and how they can make it work for themselves, because they really are the ones in control of it. I believe this to be true, and I think it's been this way for a very, very long time. These are the people, they view the president and his staff, no matter what their party is, they're just passers-by. Because in the grand scheme of things, that's exactly what they are to this unelected, bureaucratic monster.
这个群体互相之间都是老同学，因为他们都是名校毕业，然后呢，年纪轻轻进了各个部委。所以过去70多年里边，二战之后运作整个美帝国，运作整个世界资本主义体系，打冷战，是吧？主导了我们今天这个世界的，其实就是这个小圈子。那么，这个圈子对特朗普是什么看法？这个圈子总体上来讲，对特朗普是极其的不屑。他们认为自己才是美帝国真正的主人，特朗普你是外人。到什么程度？我举个例子，2015年我在华盛顿，我经常参加这个圈子的一些公开的研讨会美国体制的一个优点就是它有一定的公开性一定程度上公开性。他们要做什么事情，首先要塑造共识。这个圈子经常喜欢搞一些这个公开的研讨会，学术性的、政策性的研讨会。比如说最常见的主题是什么？平台是放在 CSIS 美国国际战略研究中心。那么在 CSIS 的各种会上，假如某位嘉宾发言中间提到了特朗普这个人的名字，台下的听众一定哄堂大笑。这是2015年已经在竞选了。
Yeah, so interesting point this dude just made. If the name Trump was mentioned among powerful elites, the people who really do believe that they own, they run, and they control, in every substantial way at least, the entire Western world, they would laugh. They laugh at the very mention of Donald Trump because they really did believe that they had it all under control. They really did believe that they had accounted for every single scenario and that Donald Trump was never, ever going to get close to the White House.
There's not going to be a President Donald Trump. That's not going to happen.
Donald Trump will not become president.
He's not going to be president. Donald Trump is not going to be president of the United States. take it to the bank.
Okay.
I guarantee it.
All right.
I think that man will be president of the United States right about the time that spaceships come down filled with dinosaurs and red capes.
Surprising, since I just assumed he was running as a joke.
I continue to believe Mr. Trump will not be president.
He will never be president of the United States.
You're not going to be president, all right?
Donald Trump will never, ever be president of the United States.
At least I will go down as a president.
Yeah, so just a little reminder, these people really did believe that they had it all under control and that Trump would never, ever, ever get near the White House. And the man was right. Just the mention of his name brought laughter. And really, honestly, thinking back earlier in the video, isn't it interesting that the Chinese powerful had the very, very same reaction to the mention of Joe Biden?
大笑，这是2015年啊，已经在竞选了。这台下的观众如果谁不笑，就显得很 low， 啊，这是华盛顿的氛围，政治氛围，你就可以想象这个圈子对特朗普是什么观点。所以2016年年底，美国的民主居然一下子变成真的了，啊，这是超乎他们意料的。特朗普这样的人居然上台了，成了他们的老板。你可以想象那个群体当时的感受是什么样的，绝对是天崩地裂，天都塌了的感觉，是吧？幻灭感。所以在过去的2年里边，一直坚持跟特朗普周旋对抗的，其实是什么人？就是这个圈子。他们利用自己的专业优势、资源优势、信息优势，在耍特朗普，啊，跟特朗普的政策是背道而驰的。特朗普的政策其实是一个带有底层里边什么，带有去杠杆，这个杠杆是个比喻。
Guys, so there you have it. And guys, let me know in the comments, what do you really think about any of this? You know, this is a Chinese Communist Party member on the record, 2 years into the Trump presidency, talking about how powerful elites were using every bit of advantage that they had, most notably, and the one that I noticed, the information advantage. And of course, their information advantage is their ability to control the media, to control the narrative, and a narrative that people in this country, guys, continue to fall for. And in most cases, without question, they don't even question it. While literally powerful elites in other countries know exactly what is going on. And it's amazing when you think about it. It's amazing how incredibly powerful their never-ending, constant drip of party propaganda really is. It's amazing. It's impressive, and it's freaking terrifying. Guys, this is something that I think we need to pay attention to. These are people that we need to listen to. We need to believe, and these are people we need to pay attention to. And we've got to find a way to get our fellow citizens to open their eyes and pay attention to this also. It's honestly, in my opinion, it's too late to stop them, but I think we can fix it. I don't think we can stop them, but I think we can fix it. I think we can repair it. But guys, that's just my take. Share this video so the people see it. I thought you deserved to see this. And thank you, Andrew, for staying on me about making this video. Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you haven't already, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, share the channel. See you in the next one.